things I have done yet.
Well, it's good to see you, Ray. I mean, obviously we talk anyway, man. You know what I mean?
For
And
real.
for those that you don't know, obviously Raymond has been, Mr. Grooverider has been inspiring me for years, no end. And you know, we're just kind of like, I don't even want it to be one of them things where it's kind of like, yeah, all the stuff that happened. It was, we know what happened. We, you know, I think it was a game changer. I think the only thing that I want to share is I think that I was your biggest fan. Biggest fan. No, no, really. I used to just stand outside the queue waiting to get into Rage just to get a glimpse of you coming out round the back way of the street, waiting with a dub plate, just
That's right.
in the hope that I could just get. I remember once I just passed you the dub plate with a head on it over the fence, and I couldn't even get in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I remember we used to see like grilling on the side, man, just banging the side of the cage. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
well, I mean, it was good
it was a
times.
bit scary, bro.
What's that? No, but I mean,
Boy, was stalking me, man. I didn't know what the hell was going on, man.
but I kind of was because we used to go to music power, you know, in
Yeah,
Haringey,
Chris, yeah,
and Chris used to get all excited.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Excited in the mix with spliff, he's getting excited, and then when you rolled up, he just changed completely because he's got to just get him out of the way, and he put out a bag of whites. He dropped like 32 bars of a white label. You just nod your head with a spliff, just nod your head while you're building one up. And me, Kemi, and Jane were standing in the shop with Toby. You looked like he was out of 40 Towers or something with his long hair. Just, you know, just looking to see what dregs were going to be left. You know, if there were any double,
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
any
You know,
other copies that were left when you were
I don't know,
going.
it's some sort of system. Do you know what? I don't even know how it got like that, to be honest with you. I have no idea because it's not like I was like bullying anyone or anything like that. Do you know what I'm saying? I was just like just being me.
No, but you were infamous anyway. I mean, you know, there's no such thing as underground anymore. I mean, and I think that I understand. I understand when all these old fogies start lamenting for it. Look, we did it, and that was it. It's a different world right now. But in terms of the genre itself, that was for me. That was what made it because it became, you know, for the music that was happening at the time. Because we came on this thing. I was pretty late when, you know, you think about all the people who already established Absolute 2 Records, Production House. You know, I came on the back of Reinforced, and you guys had already had this history from Spectrum and already going back from Acid House. And I just kind of got in, you know what I mean? So there's already a history there. But I was a massive fan, and I think you've seen the music change so many times. And at that point, for me, it was like, yeah, I want to change it, because it was on the shoulder of giants for me. You know what I'm saying? It was a different thing. Cause
Yeah, but you gotta understand. For me, it's like I don't even care about any of that. You get what I'm saying? I'm just like, it's normal. It still freaks me out now when people come up to me, like, I'm like, what do you want? Do you know what I'm saying? But I forget. It's because like I'm just a roadman, same way. Do you get what I'm saying? But
you've never
what I
changed.
do.
You've never changed. But I also don't. I even when I used to phone you up, because for anyone out there, got just put the table clear here. Grooverider does not do fucking drugs. Never has done. Doesn't give a fuck. Just smokes the thing and that's it. Us lot off our fucking tits. Imagine having to be him and deal with us in his ear hole. On the best of times, I can't deal with people in my ear hole, and I've been on it for years. So I've got to give you the, you know, the namaste, man.
You build a tolerance to it. You know, that's all it is, man. You build a tolerance. You know what I mean? You find whether somebody's starting talking shit within the first 30 seconds. So, you know.
But we had it up. I mean, I think that bringing them dub plates to you, because Timeless is one thing when it dropped, but people forget that 3 or 4 tunes on that album, Chemistry, Sinister, they were already established with you and Fabio.
Right, that's right. That's right.
Before that.
That's right.
You know, and I remember, the one thing I do remember is I remember when you had Terminator on plate for the first time. And
yeah, man.
When I first heard it played, and it cleared the dance floor.
Yeah, but we knew what was going on. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I came to you at the cage.
We knew what was going on.
And I said, and you went, "Don't worry, man," because it was the first time I kind of got into the booth. There was a door that could let you into the booth. It's kind of sacred ground, and you were packing your records up, and I was just kind of standing there, and you were like, you was almost, you didn't want to look at me directly in the eye. You were like, "Don't worry, man. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be all right. Just give it time." But I was gutted. I was destroyed. Do you know what I mean?
No, but you know, at the end of the day, tunes that last time don't normally, you know, don't always get it the first time round. people don't always get it. Some you got the growers in. It's all about the growers. The growers last to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years. Do you get what I'm saying?
I
Them
mean, Terminator was
first
on plate
impact
for
tunes.
how long? How long was Terminator on plate for? It was like I kept cutting it and cutting it. I mean, it must have been at least a year and a bit
Yeah, it was a
before that.
while, man. I remember it was a 12-inch plate because you have to remember 12-inch plate costs enough dough. You know what I'm saying? It's all about the 10-inch, right? You know,
Yeah, I was doing it.
come with the artwork and everything. You know what I'm saying?
The big head with the carving, and then it's carved on the plate as well. Because
That's right.
for those of you that don't know, that's where the name came from. Metalheads was metal. You were on Kiss at the time. You might have remembered.
Yeah.
And you want to
Yeah,
talk
yeah.
the metal tonight? Yeah, got some heads, and I'm like,
Yeah. You just joined it up. You owe me 20%, bro.
I'm taking that one. But I also loved the idea of of serving the DJ was that you always, like I'd always had this b-boy mentality, but you had SS doing his thing, and he would always come out with something really cold that I'd be like, I want to, always be as good as that. And Gavin was already established doing some absolute bangers, Sound of Music, and everything. And it was like for me, it was trying to join this. It was creating this gang mentality and all this crew. But I was so glad to catch that train, excuse the pun, to get on that thing with Reinforced, because obviously Mark and Digo never really went out. So obviously, Metalheads was the dub plate label, and they kind of gave me free grace to go and just service the boys them, and that was it really. But I mean, I think Rage. The thing with the thing I want to get back to is you just had this whole thing with Rage as well, and that has been really successful because, again, an establishment like Rage created people like me, created people like Nookie, created so many.
Yeah.
You've seen even Prodigy. Look at the way that you brought those
two. I mean, Rage went back, as you know, right from the Acid House days and took it through to Jungle. It's kind of mad, man. The whole transition.
Madness.
You know what I'm saying? It's mad. I don't think no club's ever done something like that. Do you know what I'm saying? In that amount of going through that amount of music.
A lot of music, because I remember when it started changing and when we started getting dark, and you had a lot of man licking wood in the club, and it got darker, and we were in that thing, you know what I mean? Because I think the times for me as well, I was doing a lot of madness and it was getting a little bit, but I felt that as much as I look back on certain tunes and I think everyone was just doing their thing because you got a little bit of helium, but that's part of rave culture for me. But I got on it, I was kind of like, but I want to get a singer, I want to get a vocalist, I want to try and make it something else, and just striving because it's
basically you wanted to make your own samples, because you have to remember that's what it was, isn't it? It was all about samples or where you could drag a sample from. But you took it that bit further where you wanted to make your own samples. Do you know what I'm saying? Get your own artists and get your own singers and your own strings rather than ripping them out of tunes. So that was the turning point when people realised that they could actually do that. Because you have to remember, this is urban music, so you still got the mentality, I don't think I can do that, or I don't think I can do this, or I don't think I can hire strings, I don't think I can go and get a bass player, I don't think I can do that. Do you get what I'm saying? Because you got that drilled into you from an early age, you get what I'm saying? Especially as an urban youth, you get what I'm saying? But people get to realise that's actually accessible. And you know what? I can actually get that. And you know what? I can actually write a few words here. Yeah. And I can get somebody to sing it.
But if you think about it, that's where, before, pre-Timeless, it was Reinforced, Give Me the Blessing, and I couldn't go any further. And me and Ian were moving around, and we couldn't go any further. And then, of course, it was the deal with Arlington Street with the two EPs, which was Chemistry and an Angel. Two EPs, because you had Knowledge, Sinister, Terminator as one EP. Then you had, and following up on that, because I remember calling you, and you were coming back from Donington. Not the time when I couldn't get in there, but I remember calling you saying, "That this thing." You had the 0831 number, and I remember calling you up on the standing on the desk, going, "I think we've done something really mad," and it was with obviously with the HF harmonizer with Terminator, and you went, just bring it come, and I was just seeing music out, bring it up, just bring it come. I'm just trying to stay on the phone, and I'm eating off me nut, going, "What else can I say?" I think you understood what I said. Be a million miles an hour. But I think for me, that was probably coming to London on the back of New York and going back to Wolves and coming back here. That was my biggest moment. For you, it's just you just doing your thing every week in, week out.
I always
say to people, that was a moment where I thought, I knew you as Grooverider as a DJ, but I actually had your number. And I remember holding off, not calling the number. If you're going to call him, don't talk stupidness. Call him when you got something. You know, and I guess you do that with a lot of man, because, you know, if you got something, just call a number. It's like they've got a beeper number, just call a hotline. But I remember doing Terminator that morning, I knew it was different. But obviously, to try and top that, not top it is the wrong word to say, but of course, then he was dealing with, you know, Diane, because she was managed by John, you know, and how he was doing the whole 52nd Street thing that she'd done, and they were trying to sing, and of course, getting her in for Chemistry. And for me, that was the track really that was kind of like, you know, when you guys were playing Chemistry, that was it, because it was like it was an original vocal.
Yeah.
It really works, and of course, hearing it, it's almost mad, because even those tunes then seemed really out of context, even for what was happening. Do you know what I mean?
Way ahead of their time, weren't they? You know, we could hear it though. That's what we liked. You know, remember the term cutting edge? Nobody uses it anymore, but that's what that was. You know what I'm saying? I was like, there's nothing that sounded like Chemistry at that time. Nobody was trying to do stuff like that.
I think we almost had to deconstruct it, G, because we made the darker versions because of the dub thing. You know, like
exactly.
the VIPs and like Rider's Ghost and those kind of tunes. We kind of deconstructed them because we wanted to get them rawer to make them understand it. But it was almost the dub thing as well. I think Chemistry VIP was cold as hell. It was just different because, and I think my main point of this thing was celebrating Timeless, because you can't have Timeless. You can't have the finished fucking ring, because the ring don't mean nothing, because the ring's going to drop and it's going to happen. But it's what's in the Crucible, what made it happen. Because things like This Is a Bad, which was taken from Fury, the 1-in-1 series with Rob Playford, if you remember the first tune I did with Rob. And then you look at you know, the Chemistry version that came out on the album was different from the original version on the 12. But even more so for me was Red Mercedes. We were met in town. I think we met at Black Market. Or I think it was even Red Records. And you said, just follow me. We're going to Tubby's, and I'm like, I'm going to Grooverider with this stack. And I gave you the cassette in the car. I had the same cassette. I put it in, and I'm looking at your fat head through the window, thinking, I'm in Doc Scott Sierra, right? I've got Doc Scott's Gold Blue Sierra, and I remember thinking, seeing you lean over to the thing. I thought, right, he's going to put it in now. Yeah, cool. And it was Angel with Saint Angel. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and I know on the cassette it was two things, but I know when we got to King's Cross, it must have been Saint Angel, because your head's a big fat head in the car. So I remember I'm at the traffic lights. You know, I remember this. You open the door, you go out of the car, and you walk towards me in the car, and I'm grinning teeth, winding the window down and winding, you know, like this. Went, fucking hell, man. I just took off the head, man. You got to done it now. And the door was open, and you just a little Grooverider marched back to the car. And I'm thinking, yes, fucking done it. You know, because Saint Angel on the back of Terminator was a thing, but that was yours. It was made for you. You know, Saint Angel was a special moment.
Yeah, Saint Angel was horrible though, man. It's too horrible, man. Do you know what I mean? Then you fucking. I remember when you rang me up, man. And you was playing me Ghost.
Rider's Ghost.
Oh shit, man! And you said I remember you hadn't even arranged it yet. You just done it on the fly, innit?
I did it on the fly. What it was, we had Ghost, the full version, up on the desk, and it was a desk mix which I just muted everything and just did it on the fly. And I said, Groove, I got this, and I'll tell you what was strange about that. I played it to you on the phone, but I remember giving you the DAT, and I remember I didn't know where that version went. Yeah. And I was out. You were playing Roast. And I think you phoned me and says, mate, the thing just smash up the place. I'm like, what do you mean smash up the place? Because it was another version on the end.
Yeah.
And I thought you meant the main version. I'm thinking, Roastman ain't going to deal with the full version. It was just full on hardcore.
Yeah.
Like, nah, man, there's another version on it. And I think it was a minute later. And it was the version that I thought.
It was the accident.
It was kind of the accident, because I just did that version on the fly, thinking he's got the main version, another version, but then he's sing on the end, and I never thought nothing of it.
That was the version, man.
And that's kind of what catapulted us doing, mate. You can't go too far. Just bring it back, because
that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Strip it down, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have people, you know, people do it all the time, man. Overwork tunes. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just a roller that kills it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was yours.
That was the shocker, that one.
I mean, that went for me in the same way that Comics Be True could be played anywhere.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You could play that tune. That for me was your tune.
Yeah.
Roadman. It was a Roadman tune for me.
Still to this day, I still get people bawling for it when I go to roast and all them sort of things. Still asking me for that.
Yeah,
You
man.
know what I'm saying? So you know, you made one there, mate.